the Monster Men.
Yarr! Hi, matey.
Hey, mate.
Hi.
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 All right, so we took a couple weeks off for the summer.
We did. We did
Probably
things.
take a couple more weeks off.
Yeah. It's hot. It's too hot to do this.
It's hot. But anyway, we have to. We had to get on today because Gene Wilder passed away today. So we felt like we needed to do a quick tip of the cap and give a couple of minutes to talk about. Talk about a true legend. He lives around here in Connecticut. So he was not only a legend, he was a local legend.
Right. And a reclusive guy, I hear. Not out amongst peeps, but so my father-in-law knew him quite well and said he was one of the nicest people he'd ever met in his life.
I never ran into him around here, but I know people that did. So one day, he used to go to movie theaters a lot, like the Avon down here, and do appearances. So there's an IMAX theater in Norwalk that sometimes shows real movies, but usually they show like the Great Barrier Reef and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they'll show like The Dark Knight or something. And there was one time they were showing Young Frankenstein. So I go and I walk in and there's this little table down in front of the screen. So I turn to somebody because there's a top hat on the table, a tan top hat. I go, "What is that?" Because that looks like Willy Wonka's top hat. He goes, "Oh, Gene Wilder was here. They showed Willy Wonka before Young Frankenstein, and he hosted it and did a Q&A." I'm like, because they didn't advertise it.
Oh my God!
It's like son of a. So seeing Young Frankenstein on the IMAX was amazing. Like little things that you don't notice when you're watching it, like the zipper on his neck and stuff. Like you just notice all the little things.
Like it's the first time I ever saw it in HD. I was like, "What?" I remember seeing this in the theater when it first came out. I didn't see any of this stuff.
Exactly.
Roll into hay. Roll into hay.
So I am going to pop in this week my special edition Young Frankenstein that's got a bunch of extra stuff on it, bonus features and everything. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, not just horror movies. This is one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's hysterical. And it's funny, I was just watching Bride of Frankenstein. It was on TCM this weekend.
Yeah, they showed the marathon.
And you can't watch Bride of Frankenstein without Young Frankenstein bleeding into almost every scene. It's just hysterical.
I would guess that more people have seen Young Frankenstein than either Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein at this point.
That they don't even know where the references are coming from.
Right. And Son of Frankenstein, there's a ton.
Son of Frankenstein, exactly, yeah.
So there's that. And to be honest, you're the big Frankenstein guy. I like Young Frankenstein better than any of the Frankenstein movies.
I love Bride of Frankenstein. That's my favorite of the Frankenstein movies. But Young Frankenstein is just... Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks, when they were together, made some of the funniest movies of all time.
And that would lead us into Blazing Saddles.
Oh. I can't even... The things I want to quote, I can't even quote from that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even make that.
See that? Pretty steady. See that? That's the hand I shoot with. Do what he say!
Do what he say!
It's true! It's true!
That's amazing. I saw that, and my parents took it. Anytime Mel Brooks had a movie out, they brought us right to the movies, and good Lord, I got an education. Not only on the subject matter, but on just comedy. And perfection at comedy.
And he was so good. I mean, he sang, he did comedy, he pulled off the dramatic parts of the movies. Think about this. We're horror fans, so we naturally start with Young Frankenstein. But you go, what's one of the scariest movie moments of your childhood?
Willie frickin' Wonka.
Yes, that tunnel.
The whole thing. He was so upsetting.
Good day, sir!
I said good day, sir. No, he scared me as a kid. I didn't like it. I didn't like that movie at all. It's not till I got older I was like, oh, all right, I love Willy Wonka, but he terrified me.
And when you see the Johnny Depp abortion of Willy Wonka, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He just... So a couple of weeks ago, I think it's See No Evil, Hear No Evil was on. Where
Richard Pryor, right?
Yeah, he's deaf and Richard Pryor is blind.
Right.
And it feels like an 80s movie. It's very dated. But there's a lot of really funny parts in it. And there's one, I think they're at the DMV, and they're trying to have Richard Pryor pose for a license picture, and so
Right.
they keep turning him, and the camera's like turned the other way. If you go watch this scene on the friggin' internet, it's just the funniest thing.
And you know what? Y'all, you younger ones should check out High Anxiety, another great movie, and The Producers.
Oh yeah, The Producers.
Anyways.
Well, and also,
See this? It's a cardboard belt.
what's
Great
the one where they're in
stuff.
prison? Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
That's right. That's right. We bad.
We bad. Silver Streak.
And then Silver Streak. Silver Streak's with the big guy singing.
He was on about a 20-year streak of just comedy gold. So we're gonna miss him.
Yeah. Now he's reunited with Gilda Radner.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can't say enough. He's just a legend. So that's our tribute to a great performer.
Good night, sweet Willie.
Now
let's totally change gears.
you had a great idea, so I'm going to let you introduce this.
Okay. I was thinking of, all right, what are we going to talk about here? It's not big. We're not in the sweet spot of horror right now. There's some movies out there that are kind of trickling through. I said, how about, let's talk about something guys like Jack and I, it sticks in our craw, and I'm going to call it the Scream effect, which is this period in the 90s that bled all the way into the aughts of, and you know them when you see them.
They all have the same movie poster.
They have the same movie poster. The cinematography is kind of the same. It's very slick. Everybody's pretty and young. The stories are bland. The horrors are... I mean, I'll admit, the first Scream I kind of liked, but then the Scream effect happened.
Yeah, so Scream happens, the dominoes fall. So what we're going to talk about is the movies in the wake of Scream that just made this... There's like a layer of great movies in the 90s and built on top of a pile of manure.
And the pile of manure, it was weird because, to me, it almost destroyed the genre, but it also propped the genre up because people went to see these movies in droves. And maybe it's because we were getting older and we were like, what the hell is going on here? Because I know horror is a teen thing. It's a teen, early 20s kind of thing. And we had crested that and we were getting older. So, but even sometimes I could look back at something and be like, oh, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought, man. I see snippets of these things on TV and I'm like, holy cow. I want my New Line Cinema, give me my money back. So, and they were big purveyors of that crap.
You said something that kind of was right on the nosy. On the nosy. Scream is pretty good. For me,
pretty good.
Scream runs out of gas. It goes on too long.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the first self-aware horror movie, sort of, where they were talking about the rules of horror movies.
Yeah.
So there was Wes Craven nailed it. He was like, I want to reinvent things a little bit. He kills Drew Barrymore in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
So for things like that, there was great references to old horror movies. Rose McGowan it was a gift to the world in that sweater.
Neve Campbell brought her.
Yeah, the Neve Campbell era. Yeah. So you had some great stuff, and then I just feel like there comes a point in that movie where I just get bored as hell. I'm like, okay, come on.
Right. I felt like, you know what? You can almost equate these as like horror Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
Because I think these movies also gave birth to things like Dawson's Creek and the OC and...
Well, it was like all those CW stars started to trickle into these movies. So you had
Jeremy London.
Yeah, whatever it is. Jeremy Jacobs or something like that.
Well, there was a London guy.
The kid who was in The Skulls.
Oh, God. I didn't like that movie either. But did you see Scream 2 and 3 when they came out?
Yes, and I can't even remember Scream 3. I saw it, though.
I can't remember 2 or 3. I went because my wife loved those movies. In fact, we found out she was pregnant in one of them because she walked out in the movie theater and she said, I don't feel so good. And then we went home and found out she was pregnant.
Wow.
but I just remember loathing them. I remember sitting in the movie theater loathing the fact that I gave up what it was like $8 at the time to see these turds, and the movie theaters were packed.
I don't know if I saw Scream 2 and 3 in the theater. I think I was
lucky.
I think I saw Scream 1 in the theater.
And then, because that was so good, we had to get I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was the same damn thing almost, except Jennifer Love Hewitt in a tidy white t-shirt.
And that's the only... Yeah, her and Sarah Michelle Gellar at the height of their powers. So at least you had that. But it's
what
another
do you
one.
want from me?
Can you actually sit through that movie? You're like, oh, God.
No, and they couldn't just stop at one. They had to keep making more of these
How
movies.
many did they make of those?
I think there's 3 of them.
I still didn't even remember who the killer was. It's a Scooby-Doo.
Wasn't it like the Gorton's Fisherman with a hook for a hand or something?
It was totally the Gorton's Fisherman. This haddock.
Yeah, those movies. I don't even think my wife liked those, but we still went to see those. And then, I don't know if you remember the movie Valentine.
Oh, yeah.
Came out.
David Boreanaz is in that.
Bones.
Again, another movie with the hottest chicks. And that movie was on like HBO like 24 hours a day for like 2 years. You couldn't help but see Valentine. And, and you and me are both like, wow, this movie has no balls whatsoever.
No. And by the way, went to the movie theater, saw it at a matinee. Matinee! And I was like, well, that sucks.
I had radar for that. I was just like, eh.
I had radar for it, but I had a wife who liked to go see these things. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this will be the good one.
You're right, though. That was the total cookie cutter. They're like, get the cute, hot TV star. And even the hot chicks you're talking about, they were all like the up-and-coming. They were looking for the new It Girl. They were looking for the next Neve Campbell.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, the horror I love is gritty. And it's dark. And it ain't pretty. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Nobody's really hot in there, except the fatty in the wheelchair. I mean, he's pretty hot. But they just... It was so saccharine. I think it was just so saccharine that I didn't even like the look of these things. Or the sound of them.
It was very clean.
Yeah, that's it. It was very clean. It was like they took a horror movie and just scrubbed the celluloid and said, here you go.
You think about it. If you watch Halloween or even Halloween 2, there's like graininess to it.
Right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then even if you get into like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie is a dark, gritty movie. Like,
yeah. There's a way of shooting these things that immediately tells you, I'm not going to have to show you anything scary. I'm just, the way that this is presented is going to put you on edge.
And then the Friday the 13th movies were just so low budget.
That didn't matter. You can't screw those up. Hey, here's another one that was a total stinker. Urban Legend.
Oh, God. That had the girl from the Noxzema commercials in it.
Well, didn't that have Alicia Dushku?
Was she in that one? I thought that was Rebecca, the Noxzema girl. You know what I'm talking about. She played Dylan McKay's wife.
I do know.
On 90210.
Oh my God.
She was in Jawbreaker.
Crap.
I gotta see.
There was Alicia Witt, Rebecca Gayheart.
Rebecca Gayheart, that's it. Alicia Witt. She's a babe too. She was in. Did you see her in Justified?
Yes, she was great in Justified. But yeah, Rebecca Gayheart, who I think didn't she kill somebody with her car? Vehicular homicide, I think.
In real life?
Yeah, in real life.
Oh, wow. Oh,
and don't forget, Heartthrob, the Joker, Jared Leto, was in that too.
Was he really?
Yep.
Urban Legend, yeah. What a... But you're right, the pretty cast. And the freaking movie posters are the same exact thing.
Dude, I just pulled up Urban Legends, and it says people also search for Scream, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Valentine. That's perfect. That's perfect.
This also gave birth to the Scary Movie franchise.
Yeah.
Which the best part of that is when they have the ghost mask, but it's, what's up?
Or Beetlejuice was in somebody's head or something. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Beetlejuice in the house.
And by the way, everyone, we met Beetlejuice at Schiller Theater. Remember that?
Yep. I got a picture of it somewhere.
Remember? He was
right near Eric Estrada.
Little Beetlejuice is sitting. They had an outside area at Schiller Theater because it was too big to be inside. And you met Greg Brady, and you got the Tiki God autographed.
I got that over there.
And, like, Beetlejuice is kind of, like, sitting there with his little head, and he looks at us. And didn't he tell us, like, what the F you looking at?
I think he did.
He did. And we're like, you're Beetlejuice, and you're here for us to look at.
That tiny little freak.
Oh, my God. I think he's still alive.
I was just going to say, is Beetlejuice still alive?
I think he's still alive. I thought of him when I was in Maine and we were driving home right outside Portland, and there was a sports bar that said Wednesday night midget wrestling. I'm like, wow. Isn't midget like the bad thing to say? It was like the M word. But I guess little people wrestling doesn't have the same kind of flair.
It's a good marketing term.
Little people lucha libre. Oh,
name some more of these crappy 90s movies. This is funny.
Well, there's another one, and it's not the 90s, but the Scream effect lasted.
Oh, you did, because if you look now, it's reborn into these. There's like the same kind of like cookie cutter horror movies that are just like the mainstream.
Yeah. Well, Wrong Turn.
Ugh.
Wrong Turn was... There's like 6 or 7 of those.
Elisha Dushku's in that, isn't she?
She's in that one. That's what I was thinking of. Wrong Turn is just like
she's
that.
She's in that, and she's in like My Soul to Keep or something like that.
My Soul to Keep, yes. That's another one. And that is
They just kept throwing her in movies because guys like us were like, well...
Yeah, and we kept watching it. I mean, we'd watch her in anything. Really. Another one that came out that, again, I saw it at a matinee, Shudder.
Oh.
Shutter, as in shooting with the camera. Again, here's the best. This is how I know how crappy they are. I can't recall a single thing about any of them but the emotion I had at just being pissed.
I skipped Shudder. I remember specifically being like, nope.
Dude, I think it was like 10 years ago. So it wasn't even that long.
I've logged enough bad movies. I'm not. It's like Mirrors with Jack Bauer.
Kiefer Sutherland.
I never saw that because it just looks so...
Mirrors isn't so bad because he brings a little...
It just looks so mainstream. It's like that other one with the chick who played Starbuck.
Oh, yes.
Get the mirror eye thing or something like that. What the hell was that called?
What movie? I know she was in A Haunting in Connecticut too, down in Georgia.
Yeah, I was like, what? A Haunting in Connecticut too. If you want to drive 24 hours,
nonstop, not even going to get to pee.
Don't stop at south of the border. Keep going. What the hell? I'm going to look her up.
Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff.
Was on Longmire. She's awesome.
I gotta watch that show.
Netflix, baby. The new season's coming up next month.
They're still... I thought they stopped filming that.
No, Netflix picked it up and signed them on for like 5 seasons.
Oh, good.
So by the time they're done, Longmire will be about 75 years old.
You love that show.
It's my favorite.
Oculus.
Oh, Oculus. Now that's... You know what? Now that's a movie that a lot of people... That was what, last year? Year before?
2013.
Wow, 3 years ago already? A lot of people like that movie. I thought it was kind of boring. But that's kind of like a bastard cousin of the Scream effect. It's kind of...
Yeah.
The ripples are fading now, but sometimes you get a little bit of it.
Yeah, there's a different mainstream... It's the CG... heavy, like you and I can tell a real horror movie from a mainstream just by the commercial. You're like the new Blair Witch coming out. It's got that CG thing, fast crap that we're both like, this movie is going to disappoint.
Yeah. You know what movie didn't disappoint that I thought would? Lights Out.
I'm dying to see that.
I was like, oh, all right. The 1 minute movie was great when I saw it. 5 years ago.
Oh wait,
whatever.
Lights Out. I thought you meant the one about the blind guy.
Oh no, Don't Breathe is excellent. Lights Out, I took my daughter to see. It was just me and her in the movie theater, and I was like, "This is probably going to suck," but it was pretty good.
What about the next one? Is the Gwen Stefani Don't Speak?
Don't speak. I know what you're thinking. I like to see. I bet she could do it in a movie.
Remember Peter Wolf? Lights Out. Blast.
Lights out. I think I have that 45. If we went through my 45 collection, it might be with the Pointer Sisters and Lionel Richie.
Ooh.
And Jay Giles without the lead singer.
Did you see the Lionel Richie commercial with Peyton Manning? Peyton on Sunday morning.
I think we're going to get a lot of Peyton commercials this year because he's got nothing but time.
I have been singing for years. Can't be easy like Sunday morning.
Yeah. So here we are blabbing on and on about these movies. What we want to know are what were the ones that really torqued you off in the 90s and the aughts that were Screamish.
In the wake of Scream, what were those movies that followed Scream that fell into that? It's like Pulp Fiction comes out and then there's a million movies that copy it.
Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead.
Exactly.
I always thought you wouldn't get that movie
Eight
without
Heads in a
Pulp
Duffel
Fiction.
Bag.
Yep. Imitation's a form of flattery.
Yeah.
Or in Hollywood, laziness.
Even like killing the matinee star at the beginning of the movie became. I mean, it happened in Psycho. They killed her early.
Yeah, exactly.
Scream, it was like starring Drew Barrymore. Not anymore. It was great for that.
Yeah.
Now when they do it, they just all go, the Scream convention of...
I am a Scream scholar. I went to the University of New Hampshire.
What would Ray Romano think about this?
Oh my God, Deborah! Somebody killed Deborah! And see, full circle. Peter Boyle, Young Frankenstein.
Exactly.
Closure. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Oh crap! We just sang. Jason Brandt's going to do something.
Oh crap!
Well, can't take it back.
You put your effort towards telling us other movies that suck. That's like what you're good at.
You know what? I've run out because they're gone. But we just gave a bunch.
That was good enough.
Yes, you know how we feel. I guarantee you, a lot of people watching this don't feel the same way.
And you know what we did last summer.
What do you want from me? And if you're watching the Scream TV show on MTV, I don't know if we can be your friends.
I can't watch American Horror Story anymore.
Nope.
I watched 5 seconds of Scream Queens and was like, nah.
Did you feel kind of creepy? Like, should I be watching this?
No, because somebody, I can't remember who, was enjoying it and told me to watch it. So I went in, okay, I've been recommended, and I just couldn't do it. I was like, nah.
Pulling the cord.
American Horror Story, every year I turn it on. And American Horror Story is like one of those things that's now affecting the genre. You watch the first few episodes, and then you're like, how many more episodes do they have of this? And then like I'll watch like the first 3 or 4, then I'll finally give up on it, stop DVRing it. Then I'll run into it like 17 episodes later, and it's still, you're like, what are they? Come on, just.
Do they know what they're doing here?
So MTV Scream, I do not give a crap.
And Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
No, not gonna watch it. Not gonna happen. Not gonna do it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's call that one a show.
Good.
And then hopefully next time I think we got a guest coming up, but we won't tease it until we figure out what's going on.
Yep, we have guests. Labor Day. And then by October, you will wish it was summer and not seeing our ugly mugs constantly.
Because it's when the machine gun starts.
Forget it. In fact, you're going away for a while, and then when you come back, you come into the studio here, and we're going to start rattling stuff off.
Just as a teaser, I have the first pumpkin ale for our pumpkin ale show.
Oh, and I have made a vow not to drink any pumpkin ale until you crack open the first one. So
I will only drink Shipyard.
Shipyard.
Because I saw it somewhere and I was like, oh, I gotta have a Shipyard soon. But before that, other than that, I won't try any new ones.
I've ended my search for blueberry beers over the summer, which all the blueberry from last year was replaced by grapefruit and shandies this year. So it was not easy finding what I wanted.
Just get some blueberry and pour it into it.
Blueberry. You know what? That actually might work.
Brewberry.
That's it. I'm calling Two Roads.
Hello, Two Roads? Hunter here.
I've got an idea. It's $1 million idea.
$1 million idea. Take a pen. Write this down.
If Jack Campese tells you anything, just ignore him. He's a liar.
You son of a bitch, that's my idea.
All right, we've turned into 1930s reporters.
All right.
This is a good one. I hope we made you mad.
I hope you're so mad you scream.
Scream! Scream!
What's your favorite scary movie?
God. You see, I just lost a bit of my soul just hearing you say that.
Here, I'll get
Thanks.
it back. Do,
Dunk.
do, 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 do.
I'm real horror, and I'm real horror, and we'd kill Scream.
Ghost
My
face.
boys. My boys.
All right. That'll do it for this episode of Monster Man. We will see you next time on
Monster Man.